Hello everyone, what's going on? I'm Gav, the Mastermind74, back again today, and welcome to a video that I really wasn't expecting to make, but as you can see, I'm on Valve's official Source SDK 2013 GitHub page, and they've added the Team Fortress 2 code to the Source 2013 code, so don't know why, but it's happened, and they've even updated the README. And one thing that I can see immediately from the get-go is that you don't even need to go down the route of getting Visual Studio 2013 for this. You can simply use Visual Studio 2022, which helps. And they even give you some basic instructions for building this code on Windows and also on Linux. Now, they do give some guidance about distributing the mod, which you can check that link for more information. They link to the Source SDK 2013 page on the Valve Developer Wiki and other basic stuff. So what I wanted to do is just not only point this out, but also try and download it, compile it, and see what happens. Now, there's one thing to note, which is that we can actually go to this single player branch. The master contains the new TF2 code, and if you go to single player, then as you can see, it was updated a very long time ago, except for the actual folders where you see they've moved SP to the root directory. So let's actually go into this src folder, and yeah, as you can see, a lot of updates here, and I'm assuming this is the same old code, not including TF2, but it would be what we've used for a very long time. So that's pretty much all I can gather from the very bare basic research that I've done. But yeah, this is something that I was looking for, checking the commit history for the master branch. That you can actually see that last time there was an update was back in 2015. So they've basically left this unedited for over 9.5 years, pretty much thereabout. And just out of the blue, removed the single player code, moved MP to the root directory, and then added the Team Fortress 2 code, all within the last 3 hours from, the 18th of February at around 10 o'clock at night, British time, I guess you could say. So that is very interesting. So let's actually, what's this? It's actually finished. All right, let's get to work. Alright everyone, so I've extracted the downloaded code into a folder. As you can see, I'm on my S drive for the source drive. Let's go into src. We can create all projects, and let's see what it says. So I'm able to open file.dat, so that's like a data file, I'm assuming. Win64, that's a good sign, so they've updated to the 64-bit binary. Just checking that automatically. So you gotta be careful with these kind of warnings where it says duplicate custom build step for proto ignoring, because that could very well mean that the Team Fortress client project isn't actually going to get created properly. Don't really know how you would go about fixing that at this point in time, and it's kind of got stuck on client HL2MP. That's going to be Source 2013 multiplayer as we know it, Half-Life 2 Deathmatch. So I have to see if this gets stuck, if it's going to make progress, or if I need to, run the command again. We'll have to see. Tell you what, let's, there we go. Oh wait, what's this? stdafx.cpp creates a PCH but has no use PCH through file. Okay, so I just ran the application again because it looked like it's stalled, but it looks like we have an everything.sln file. We can open this up in Visual Studio 2022. So the obvious question is, does the code compile, can reload into a custom Team Fortress 2 mod? So all this is very exciting now. Obviously, we have to prepare for issues, prepare for errors. So let's see, what they give us in the Everything project. Pretty much the same stuff. I mean, we get client TF this time, launcher main, launcher main. That's interesting. That's going to be the HL2.exe application, isn't it? So that's going to be interesting that they give this to us. Wondering what that's going to be for. But then they also give us server plugin, empty, TGA diff, VGI controls. It looks all different and looks pretty good if you ask me. So the first thing we're going to need to do, which might take a very, very long time, is to just rebuild the solution and see what happens. If it gets flooded with errors, then we know this is bad, but this is the debug build, so it could throw up some errors. But let's wait and see what happens. Yeah, well, because usually if you just build the solution again, it will just cut straight to the stuff that that failed. So let's see. Launcher main mods tf.rc cannot open afxres.h. So, okay, that's going to be something we need to look into. And also, I have absolutely no idea where to look for that. So, it's either a file that's supposed to be included, but it isn't, or that's just something that Valve hasn't provided, so we can't even make the application at this point in time until that file gets added. So, afxres.h, let's see. Does it exist in this directory? Let's see. No, it doesn't. So that is something that is not good, unless that's like a Windows file, in which case that's just not good. There's, oh no, that's QCIs, but then AFXWin doesn't exist. That's why that fails. And then what do we have here? G_script spawn helper is an undeclared identifier, excuse me. Then undeclared identifier. That's the reason why those are failing. So where's that? Point template.cpp. So let's see. Can we find it? Yes, it's here. So we go down here, what's it saying? So G_pscript_vm arrow run of, and then it tries to find that, but then that doesn't exist. And then that's why that fails. So I wonder what that is meant to be referencing exactly. So I'll tell you what we could do. We could also just check the issues on the GitHub page, because as we can see, I believe someone says that it can't compile. But they're saying they can't build that, so. Yeah, so this is all new stuff. So maybe if I check back in a few hours, because I'm obviously going to be going to bed very soon. But it could just be the case that it's just missing files, but I don't know. And I guess the only other thing to check is compiling the release build. So let's just rebuild the solution using the release version instead and see if that does anything. I don't think it will do anything differently to like resolve these issues, because that's supposed to be defined somewhere and it isn't. So that is something we need to potentially investigate. It was under resource, weren't it? It was, what happened? Oh, you just can't open the file anyway. Edit code? Yeah, see. So it tries to find that file, but it can't do it. And then, yeah. Bit weird. I don't know why that's screwed all of this up now. Didn't mean it to, but alright. It is what it is. Yeah, clib photo buff. So yeah, it's the same. Let me guess, it's the same files that are causing the same issues. Which it is. I just saw launcher main and server. So it looks like because of something failing to compile, it doesn't actually like begin the compilation of the server code. But as you can see, we're continuing and going into the server code now. Oh, it was point template that was the issue, weren't it? So yeah, as you can see, even if we do switch to the release version, this is still undefined. So that's going to show up as an error. And I don't really know why that's the case. Now, I don't know why this has screwed up, but it's gone into like resource view instead of the project view, unless I just go to the Solution Explorer tab. I honestly just didn't see that until the last second. But while this compiles and inevitably fails, we can actually search for that, g_script spawn helper thing, and just see if there is any other mentions of it. Probably not the best time to be searching for this as the code's trying to compile, but in case there is anything. And that seems to be the only instance where it shows up. So yeah, I don't know what that is supposed to be, but that's an issue that I'm having at least. So if anyone has any ideas about how to resolve some of these issues other than to like wait for Valve to update the GitHub to fix these issues, then let me know. It could just be the older Source 2013 setup that I've got on my system, just to make sure that I can compile the old code, because as I said, there's that period of like 9.5 years where the GitHub wasn't updated. So maybe it's having that stuff on my system is causing conflicts here. But this, to me, seems like it's supposed to be something that's defined, but it isn't. And so it's like, what the hell is this? And I'm sitting here like, what the hell is this? So that's pretty much all I have to say. I know this is going to fail to compile. So unless anything happens in the meantime, and by meantime I mean like in the next, say, I don't know, 12 hours or something, maybe a little longer than that. Let's call it like 14 to 15 hours if nothing changes. Then I'm just going to have to upload this video as is and just say this happened. But there's issues and I don't know why, and maybe I can test this on like a virtual machine with just Visual Studio 2022 and this updated Source 2013 code, and just go from there and see what happens. Alright everyone, I'm back. As you can see from the time down here, it's about, I don't know, 12 hours after I did the initial recording session for this video about Team Fortress 2's code being added to Source 2013. Now, there's been a couple of interesting things that I wanted to point out, and also some disappointing things as well. So first off, as I mentioned, you can go to this single player branch. Now, this is basically the Source 2013 single player code. Now, from what I've been able to tell, this code hasn't been updated like the multiplayer code has. So it's still going to use the 32-bit version of the code, and from the looks of it, you still need Visual Studio 2013 in order for the code to compile properly, unlike the multiplayer code where that's had some updates to work with the 64-bit version and also Visual Studio 2022. Now, I do need to give a bit of a thank you here to Vitamin Omega Harry OJ Red SP2 in. What a name that is. But they said that they actually found a folder called Episode 3 in the multiplayer version of the code. And as you can see, we've got this right here. This inside of the episodic folder, there's a folder called Episode 3. Now, you get these files. Weapon Proto 1, I think, was from Episode 2, but was unused. But then we get NPC Weapon Scanner and NPC Combine Armored. So you can take a look at these if you really want to. But I thought I'd, check out the Armored Combine Soldier, because it seems as if Valve themselves did something similar to what I suggested in a video. In fact, the last video that I did, Source Shorts number 20, where basically you create a class, then create like existing code as a base class, and then override functions like spawn, pre-cache, and then add any other stuff that you want to. And that's pretty much exactly what is going on here. So I'm getting Combine Guard, vibes from this code because of the armor pieces and, spawning the armor pieces on the actual Combine Soldier. But yeah, you can see a little bit of a brief insight into, the episode 3 code here. So I thought that was interesting to see, and thanks to that individual with that epic name for pointing that out to me. But a couple of disappointing things I wanted to get to. Number one, I tried compiling the Source 2013 code on a Windows 10 virtual machine where Visual Studio 2022 was the only thing that was installed. And I ended up getting the same compilation issues that I did when I tested this about 12 hours ago, at the time of this recording anyway. So I don't know why that's going on. So I'll leave that for the viewers to try and help and see if there's anything that I'm missing or anything that I need to do on my end to try and get that to work. However, I did try to do this on Linux, and it seems to have compiled perfectly fine. Now, one of the issues was with one of the .h files for point template, and I did look into the .h file. On Windows, it seems to be empty, but when I checked that same file on Linux, it seems to have been populated on Linux with something. So I don't know if there was like a prior step that was supposed to happen on Windows that didn't happen correctly, and hence had a knock-on effect as to why I can't do it on Windows. But on Linux, it seems to compile perfectly fine for me. I can't really do any testing because I don't really have a machine capable of, running Linux at the moment. So a standard Oracle VirtualBox VM isn't going to be able to play Source 2013 multiplayer, unfortunately. So don't know if it works beyond that. But all I can really say for now is I've had no real success with this so far. So if anyone has any suggestions or has had any success, or even knows if using that Linux version of the .h file that caused issues on Windows is actually going to resolve the issues I've experienced, I don't know. But that's what I have to say for now. Hopefully you found this somewhat helpful, informative or whatever, and maybe there'll be a follow-up if I can actually get the code to work, and maybe do a video where I can actually demonstrate how you can do this from a complete clean install. But yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. Take care out there. Peace out, see you later, and enjoy the Team Fortress 2 code.